Welcome back to Signals on 91.3. This morning, our very first conversation started up last week, I think during Christmas. Special thanks to Adeola Olunloyo, the author of When Time Runs Out. She buzzed me on the 24th and said, "Madam, you're having a guest." I said, "Okay," and I'm sending the person to you. I said, "Yes, ma." And she sends me somebody I have watched from afar. You see this life here, you cannot run. and she sends me this person. And we're going to have a conversation on understanding consumer rights with she's a competition and consumer protection expert with more than 3 decades of professional experience in communications, marketing, media, customer service, consumer protection in both private and public sectors. In over 3 decades, she's sitting on different boards that we will start to count them. She was a special advisor, communications and strategy in Ekiti State, and currently serves as a federal commissioner and the honorable member representing Southwest on the Pioneer Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal, Abuja. She's a member of APCON, International Bar Association, and a patron and fellow of West Africa Association of Customer Service Professionals. Yesterday, my friend and I were discussing, and I said, "Oh, I was going to have her," and he goes, "Oh, we call her Mama Consumer Rights." And I said, "We're done." In the course of her career in consumer advocacy, she initiated programs like the Lagos Consumer Forum and March 1st, 2016, No Banking Day, a consumer boycott in protest of excessive bank charges. She was the founder and president of Consumer Advocacy Foundation of Nigeria and a former commissioner of Lagos State Law Reform Commission. Well, standing on all the wonderful boards that you have sat on, we welcome warm signals welcome to so my Yoruba self will have to say ma'am, my radio self will say
just go ahead.
Sola Salako Ajulo. Welcome to Signals on 91.3.
Thank you very much. Just being here for the past 15 minutes, it's been an experience already.
Thank you very much. Now, we're discussing understanding consumer rights. Who is an informed consumer?
Basically, an informed consumer is somebody who knows what they want from a transaction, who knows what they're entitled to, the basis of having engaged a transaction. Transaction just means I'm paying you money for service or for value.
Okay.
And so if you're going to be an informed consumer, you are the person who knows your rights as a consumer and also knows your responsibilities as a consumer, because it's a balance. You don't just know your rights alone, you also have responsibilities in any transaction. So that's why I call it an informed consumer.
Okay. In 3 decades, past 3 decades, what has, from when you started till now, what has changed from the consumer we used to know then and now?
I think a lot more access to information has been very helpful. When we started back in the 2000s, just the turn of 1990 something to 2000, there was no Facebook, there was no internet, and all the only platforms you could get information to people was only maybe by radio or TV and newspapers. In fact, I started writing. I started as a columnist in This Day Literati. That's how I started consumer protection advocacy. And so to now, where just at the flip of your phone,
messages has gone.
Information, yes, you have information. There's even information overload. So it's that has been a real blessing. So a whole lot more people are aware. And because information has been democratized now, everybody can just pick up their phone and say something.
And tweet.
Yes, tweet, make Facebook page, do video, reel, whatever. They can just say what they are. So because of that, a whole lot more consumers have confidence to be able to speak up. Before they couldn't speak, who do they talk to? Now, just by posting it and it goes viral, the business owner is running after you and begging you to pull down. So that has really been a great help. But like I said, the downside of that is that there's so much information and people don't even know which one
is right or wrong.
which is right, which is wrong, and a whole lot of people speak with much confidence about something that
they don't know about.
They don't know anything about. So it's both sides, but it's been a blessing. I think we are better.
And a cost, and a little bit of cost.
Yes, we are better off here now than where we used to be. That I can say.
Now, earlier on, before we came on, you were discussing about what business owners should know, because every time we say the consumer is right, the consumer is king, and the business owner is like side high, really. What is the rights? What is the protection right of the business owner?
Okay, that is an area that I find there's still a big gap in our consumer advocacy in Nigeria. We spend a whole lot of time enlightening the consumer, empowering the consumer, and all that, but we don't spend that much time enlightening and empowering the businessman. Now, in any transaction, there are two parties. There is the buyer and there is the seller. And both, for it to be a fair market, both must have rights and responsibilities. So, for a long time, the rights of the consumer has been trampled upon. And it's only the business owner, because it's the one who's holding the money, that seems to have all the rights. But we've shifted the balance. Now, the problem we now have is the consumers are becoming so empowered that the business owner is feeling nobody's protecting me. And that is simply because the business owner does not understand what his role and his rights are, even within the consumer protection ambit. So, as a business owner, the fact that we say consumer is right, does not mean that we say your business doesn't matter. In fact, the best way to do consumer protection is to ensure that you keep the business owner in business. Because if the business owner is not in business,
there's no consumer that will be right.
There's nothing to buy.
There's no consumer that will even be right in the first place.
So it is important that the market is fair. And then when you look at the law balances it out in such a way that you as a business owner, there are times when you can say, oh no, the consumer has abused privilege, and therefore you are not going to allow that. But because we are coming from a deficit
of trust,
a deficit of trust, a deficit of the fact that the consumer has always been trampled, they've never had any rights, nobody speaks for them. So right now the consumer, we're trying to bring the balance up. But I find that even for the benefit of the consumer, if the business owner does not understand why consumer protection, he will not give it. And when he doesn't give it, nobody benefits. Because I went to the market the other day and I bought some sink. I was changing the sink in my kitchen, and I went to, where's that place now?
Alaba?
Not Alaba. Before you get to Alaba, Igomu, I can't remember the place. Anyway, where you buy these things. And when I bought the thing, they gave me a invoice and said, goods taken in good point, whatever, cannot be returned. Every time I see that on an invoice, I cancel it. And I enlighten the business owner. This is against the law. When you used to be able to write this some donkey years ago, we didn't have a consumer protection law. Now we have the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act of 2018 that establishes what is acceptable in a transaction and what is not acceptable. Lagos State has a Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency Act that says these are the way you can do business in Nigeria or in Lagos State. So if you are in those two enclaves, and so many other states are now domesticating that, but the federal one covers all of Nigeria. So by the time I explain to them that your business, you can't sell me a sink and tell me that once I take it away, well, if it works, it doesn't work, it's no longer your responsibility. I said it's a durable product. It's not a consumable. It's a durable product. It's expected to work for a reasonable amount of time. If it fails within that reasonable amount of time, I should bring it back here. And as a consumer, I have a right to either a repair, a redress. It's a repair. We call it the redress, the 3 R's of redress. R is repair, replace, or refund. Those three must be on the table. That is your right as a consumer. So now you as a businessman, it's either repair it, replace it, or refund it. Now, you as a businessman need to protect your own self. And this is how you protect yourself. Since you are not the manufacturer has a responsibility. That's what we call warranties and guarantees. The manufacturer has a responsibility to provide a guarantee to you. If you are going to stock my product, I'm guaranteeing you that this product will work as it says. If it doesn't work, you revert back to me. Sometimes the consumer can revert directly back to the manufacturer, but most times you have to go to the middleman, the retailer. So you as a retailer must commit your supplier, who is your wholesaler, who commits the manufacturer, to giving you that protection. If this thing doesn't work, I must be able to return it so that you replace it.
Should there be a timeline?
Usually for different products, there are usually timelines. When you buy durable products, I mean, you buy an AC and co, even if it fails within a year.
1 year.
No, we will get up to 2 years warranty.
Okay.
Yes, but if it is something that is not that tangible or not that expensive, the warranty period might be 3 months, might be 6 months, but it should never be less than about 3 months. Really.
Okay. So repair, replace, refund.
Yes, that's your right as a consumer.
As a consumer. And as a business owner, I'm looking at myself like, then it means that the onus lies on us to ensure that we sell good products.
That's the point. Because if you know that the consumer has that right, you will not stock substandard products.
Okay.
You will not pick up, and that's one of the ways in which you also monitor the market. Because most times it's easy for you to buy the substandard ones and sell it to other people since you don't have any liabilities. But if you now know that you have liabilities, you will make sure that you are sourcing from the right place, from the people who can back it up, that if anything goes wrong with it, you take it back to them.
Yes, I'm coming back to this.
So it has to keep going back like that. But the retailer doesn't feel they have that responsibility. So they will just tell you, no, I'm not the one who made it. You have bought it.
Take it like that.
It's no longer, that can no longer hold in the Nigerian marketplace by the laws that we have right now.
But then do we follow the law?
Oh, half the time in this marketplace that I know, the majority of people don't follow the law because they don't even know the law. Majority. 2, we have very large enforcement gaps. The government has not provided enough teeth to enforce those laws. So it takes a consumer who pushes and screams and fights and
tweets
to get some kind of, even when you tweet sometimes they won't ignore you now, to get some kind of backup. And you know the way Nigerians behave, man no man, you have to know somebody who can help you put pressure on someone. So once we are able to enlighten everybody, you know, I feel that consumer protection is two-pronged. You have prevention, and then you have redress. You know, when it has already been committed, we need to put a lot more emphasis on prevention. We are only doing redress now.
All the time.
The thing has already happened.
Sorry, now we have told you sorry, and then
so
give
you
you
have to
plenty
point it to how do we correct it. We should even try to prevent it. So a whole lot more pressure needs to be on the prevention level, and the prevention level is educating both the retailer and the market, the marketplace. The retailer, everybody who's a stakeholder in that chain needs to know what their roles are and to creating the situation in the first place. And what benefits that businesses don't know is that if you give me good service,
I'll come back.
Not only will I come back, I will also get more people to come to you. And that's how you stay in business.
Word of mouth.
This is why they say consumers are kings. So if you don't give me good service, that person, if I bought the thing and it messes up and
I won't come back.
I won't go back there, and I will make sure don't go to this place. So this is what happens there. You don't want that for your business.
No.
So you put, but I also understand that they need to protect their own capital, because if I've invested money in buying a product and then the product fails and the consumer brings and I pay him back, what happens to my own capital? Which is why you must know that where you pick up the product, you must be able to take it back there.
Yeah.
This thing you gave me to go and sell is not working well. So you have to take that responsibility, and that now pushes it back to the manufacturer or the importer, because the law actually holds the importer responsible for substandard products.
Now, in a country where we have, it's a mixed bag of original products and substandard products, and then the regulars, how do we ensure that we begin to have original products where I can, if you have a product, if you open a shop today and you have a product and sell, and you know that, okay, this is original, but we have, even to our food, our drinks, it's almost, we are watching the expiry dates of a lot of things. How then do we ensure that we have great products. Because I know that in some countries, you can't use some countries' products. You have to use products from a designated country that they are sure of, right? And then
because
here,
they have standards.
Well,
we have loads of standards. I used to be on the council of the Standards Organization of Nigeria. I was there for like 4-5 years, and I see the amount of standards that Nigeria has for everything you can think of. We have a standard for puff puff. The quality of, what is considered approved for, but you see, those standards are just lying there.
No, but we don't.
Nobody is enforcing it. So, if, for instance, I want to enforce the standards of puff puff, what will happen is that's why they have the Caterers Association or whatever. You will call them into a meeting, and you will enlighten them. You will educate them. So, for you to put puff puff in the marketplace, it has to be of this standard, the amount of flour you should use, the amount of whatever. So you would have enlightened them, and you now say, if we come into your market and we find that it is less than this, you'll be penalized. We don't have enough regulations. No,
we have regulations. We have the standards, but we don't have enforcement.
Yes, we don't have.
Then what is that wrong with the Nigerian?
The Nigerian basically is looking to make money. So if he sees there's something, I can exchange this for money and I can make profit, he goes for it. It's somebody who needs to put. You see, this is the problem with capitalism. And when I'm always quarreling with people about capitalism, I believe in the right of you to prosper.
Yes.
I believe in capitalism. But you see, when you leave capitalism to go unchecked,
yes,
it exploits. And that is the responsibility of government to check that exploitation of their citizens. And that is by enforcing they set the rules.
Because many Nigerians don't trust regulators, right?
But the regulators are doing a whole lot of work. They are just not enough. And that's because Nigerians are so used,
anyhowness.
Yes. You are in a marketplace that for the past 50, 60, 70 years,
you have been gone unchecked.
Yes. And then you want to check. Look at this tax thing now.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming and wanting to kill themselves.
Somebody even sent a message that we know they pay tax, bank charges, etc.
It's because we are so used to that anyhowness that paying taxes seem like a burden on you.
Because we're not seeing the benefits.
No, you see, let me tell you what. This is the same thing about consumer protection and all that. You have responsibilities and you have rights. Do you understand? Yeah. We are so used to just demanding our rights and we don't want to do our own responsibilities. Now, let me tell you how you can see the benefit of it. Yeah. Because all the monies they've been using to do everything and they've been stealing, according to what we all think, didn't come from our pockets. Now, when you start putting, it's you that is putting the money, you pay attention. You pay attention. Yeah. You will ask questions. So what did you use? Money? Yes. What did you use my taxpayer money for? We don't ask, and even when we ask, then they can't. They won't pay any attention. They shut us up like, exactly. No, but once you know that I am paying, I can stand up to you and say, what are you using my money for? And if all of us who are paying the money, you are careful because you now know that the people who own the money will come and ask me for questions. Ask me questions. So it's because we're used to anyhowness, and we want a country that works. But we don't want to change our anyhowness. It's the same thing in the consumer protection space. You understand? Yeah. We are so used to doing. That day when I was in that market, one boy was quarreling with me there. How can I tell them that they should go and return something to? Am I the one who made it? Am I the one? I said, don't worry. If you sell substandard products and we come here and we shut down because the regulator has that power to do that. I gave them my card that day. They say, okay, this woman is serious. Okay. If we come and shut down your business and you don't have room to do that business for some time, you will understand the reason why you need to stop stocking
substandard products.
Exactly.
But okay, so not making a case for them, but they'll say the pricing. There's also a pricing war.
The bottom line in the matter is that if you are going to sell, because I'll tell you the law actually says that you are allowed to sell second-hand, third-hand goods. Okay. But you must state that this is second-hand and third-hand. So whoever wants to buy has a choice
to say, okay, this is original.
Not that you will package in the second-hand good or something that's malfunctioning and you package and make it, this is brand new. That's lying. That is exploitation, and that is against the law. So what we're saying is, put what you are selling, put it in
grades
and make it clear. Let the consumer be the one to choose. Don't.
So that way we're not refunding too much.
Exactly. So if you say, okay, for instance, the warranty on the second-hand good can never be the same as the warranty on the brand new. So, but you want to give me the warranty on a warranty for brand new goods as a warranty of second hand. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Yes, if it's second hand, my warranty cannot be maybe 3 months, 6 months, because it's second hand. Somebody's used it before. But if it's brand new, you should give me up to a year. So those are the things that guide the decisions of the consumer protection and regulation.
Okay, then it signals markets. Okay, it signals on 91.3. Signals marketplaces 10 to 10:15 every Saturday in the morning. We're discussing understanding consumer rights. I'm now adding understanding business owners and consumer rights together. Now, if you have questions for Sola Salako Ajulo, you can send us a WhatsApp message 0809 234 5913. You can also call us 0704 700 8913. Now, can an average Nigerian realistically take a big company to court and win?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. I told you that I was sitting on the tribunal in Abuja.
Yes.
Until
Go ahead.
last year.
Yes.
Until December. In fact, we're just winding up our tenure. There was a case that was brought to the tribunal of a customer who instructed his bank to do a transaction. I want to transfer money from my account to another of my account in another bank. And I walked into your bank. I wrote a note. I said, you fill the form.
Yes.
And they said instant transfer. Do you understand? And the man finished the form. They collected it and he went home. And he didn't see the transfer in the second account. So he kept calling. They said, oh yes, just a delay, just a delay. Throughout the day, he didn't see it. The next day, he came back to the bank, and it was a Friday. And he came and said, you didn't transfer. That was the next day that they returned his money and said it failed. So they held his money for like 24 hours. Then he now says, look, I need this money in that other account. He said because he wanted to pay his children's school fees, and he uses that bank to pay the school fees. So he sends the money again. This was on a Friday. It still didn't go through. And they now didn't return the money until Monday, by which time the children were supposed to have gone to school at the weekend. So he had to borrow money according to him. He borrowed money to pay to get children to go to school. So he wrote the bank and said, you violated my right.
Wow.
And I mean, I had a right to, if I give you an instruction for a service, I have a right. Section 130 in the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018 says, if you as a consumer pays for a service, you have a right to a complete and timely completion of that service. And this one you failed. So the bank came and said, well, it was not our fault, it was the system, and then we refunded it in 24 hours, which one? Meanwhile, the central bank says, if it is an instant transfer, you must reverse it in 10 minutes.
Okay.
And it was, so we took a judgment, and we fined the bank 120 million naira for violating that right. And everybody went like, it was only 500,000 that the man was. I said, you don't understand. The law says if you find any company liable for violating your consumer right, the court can fine them 10% of their previous year's profit, or 100 million, whichever is, I don't know, more. Whichever is more is not even what the law says. So the law is there. It just needs to be tested.
Did the man win? Yeah.
He won that case. Of course, the bank has gone to appeal. The case is still in appeal now, but he won because we won't find them to pay him, I think, damages of about, I think, 5 million or something.
Okay. That's right.
Yes, you actually can, but because the court processes are long. That's why the tribunal was set up. The tribunal, we finished all of this in less than 5-6 weeks, 6 months, less. And Lagos State actually has a unique way to handle this. Lagos has designated some certain courts, and I think they keep increasing them. The last time I checked, I was on the board of the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency. It had about 16 magistrate courts across Lagos that are dedicated to handling consumer disputes like this, anything lower than 5 million naira. And they must finish it within 90 days.
Okay.
So it's available there if you want to go there. And then there's the multi-door courts where you do ADR. So that doesn't require a long process, and you don't even need a lawyer. You can go and make your own case yourself. and all that. So there are opportunities to do that.
So the beautiful thing is Nigeria is working. It's just that we
Yes.
need more advocacy to come out. Now, you have written a book called Your Ninja Guide to Consumer Rights and Protection. Protect Yourself. And you are going to read... yeah, I told you. Let me be confessing. This one is consumer rights now.
Oh, wow.
So I told you that you are going to read a session of the book. And so, this is it. This one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How to use warranties.
Because we have a lot of warranties and...
People don't know how to use warranties. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Using a warranty effectively involves understanding your rights
Mm-hmm.
and the process for making a claim. Here are some practical steps you can follow. 1, you must keep all documentation. For you to be able to enforce a warranty, receipts and warranty cards. You know, when people open up boxes, they just throw those things away. No, you shouldn't. Always keep your purchase receipts and any warranty card that comes with the product. These usually come in handy as evidence and proof when you need to use the warranty. Number 2, register the product. Warranty documents usually accompany the product or service. Some warranties require you to register the product with the manufacturer. Do this promptly to ensure that your warranty is valid. 2, understand the terms. Read the warranty. Carefully read the terms and conditions of the warranty. Pay attention to what is covered and what is not covered. The point of purchase, if you need to. And then you should know the process. Understand the process for making a claim, including who to contact, what information you need to provide, and sometimes manufacturers want you to contact, but typically the first place to go and report any problem is the retailer where the good or service was first purchased. Then you need to learn how to document the problem, record the issue, keep detailed records of any problems, including the dates, the description of the issue, and any communication with the seller or with the manufacturer. And now that we have a lot of phones and cameras, take photos or videos. Visual evidence are usually very helpful in supporting your claim. When you have documented the problem, then the next step is to contact the seller or manufacturer. Initiate contact. Reach out to the seller or manufacturer as soon as you encounter a problem. Provide them with all necessary documentation and a clear description of the issue. Then you go to follow up. If you do not get a response, follow up again with another email or a phone call. But you must be persistent. You must keep being persistent. And finally, escalate if necessary. If they are not responding, seek a higher authority. It is if the initial contact does not resolve your issue, ask to speak to a supervisor or a higher authority within the company. Or you now can escalate to the regulatory agencies. If the company is not responsive, consider contacting a consumer protection agency for assistance.
Thank you. Now, I've asked you to read this because, this tax issue, everybody is writing narration. You have to write. Now, with warranties, we just throw it away. Now, you talked about escalation in the book. Now, many people feel complaining doesn't change anything. So you go to a restaurant, you go to a boutique or something to buy something and you don't like it. And the moment you raise your voice, everybody begins to look at you, troublemakers, come. How then do we ensure that when I'm complaining about my product, the product that I bought with my hard-earned money, I know what I'm talking about? Because you know that you know when people go, the moment you start to raise your voice, it's like, who is this person? Go and call your manager. The thing happen.
Yeah, that's you always get that response because the environment itself does not know enough knowledge. They don't have enough knowledge about their rights, and in Nigeria they feel you are a troublemaker. But the bottom line is, it is because I was a troublemaker that I got to being able to raise enough awareness and got a lot of support, and people don't do those things to me, and I'll tell you, you don't want my trouble.
Exactly.
Because when I start, it doesn't stop. So if you don't steal money, you work hard for it. You won't be wasting it or throwing it at things that don't. If it doesn't work, you want value. So it is your right to get value. So the fact that the environment does not recognize it, but you know what's interesting? Once you insist and you get that value, everybody now starts to do the same thing. So don't be how do you call it? Don't be scared
or laid back.
Don't be scared of being the pioneer to insist on something. Go and if you know it is your right, stand on it, get it, because you'll be opening up the door for more people to be confident to do the same thing. So it's yes, I won't tell you that once you start on, people won't complain. I remember that we were on a plane one time and the plane didn't take off, and they sat us on the tarmac in this Nigeria for like 5 or 6 hours because they said they were looking for one whatever, and they won't let us off because they've already checked us in and all that. And it was really, really bad. I went around that plane collecting names
and signatures.
And, yes, signatures, names, and telephone numbers of everybody who wanted to be a part of it. And I got quite a lot. And when I got to my destination, I sat down and I did a complaint on behalf, and I listed all those people. They wrote us back. They gave the foreigners, all the foreigners on the trip, they gave them maybe another ticket or something. We Nigerians, they gave us like extra miles, you know, they gave us enough miles to be able to maybe buy another ticket or something. But we got something back. Of course, when I was doing it, people were looking at me, and they were like, but they couldn't stop me. Because I was insisting on getting my hand, helping everybody, organizing them to ensure that we got our rights. So we need more people to stand up and bail the cat, because once we start doing it and it becomes a norm, the environment itself will change. So you can't just expect the environment to change. You start the change. Now, from the change that you want to see.
Man in the mirror. Now, from your time advising government, where does consumer protection usually fall on the priority list?
That has been a real challenge. But let me say this. From when we started consumer protection, I mean, from when I became really active as an advocate, and till now, it has really improved. But we're not yet where we should be. For instance, there was one of the things we've been pushing for, they haven't paid any attention to it, is that the greatest challenge why we don't have enough enforcement is because consumer protection is never funded. You see, government will put money in anything that generates money for them. Consumer protection they see as a consumption thing. You know, it's just consuming money. We don't get anything from it.
There's no ROI.
Yes. But it's not true. It is even the one that gives them the biggest ROI. So we have been advocating that you charge VAT. VAT is consumption tax. That means it is people who buy. It's the consumer who pays VAT. I'm buying something. I'm paying for a good or service. I pay you VAT. We are charging a tax on it. A percentage of that tax should be dedicated to funding consumer protection structures. We are still there. We are still fighting. We've gone to National Assembly. We have gone to states. We've gone. So it's not yet given
more priority.
Yes, as it should.
It only gets more priority when there's
a crisis
on Facebook or on socials. And
and it shouldn't be. It needs to get more. There needs to be more support. There needs to be funding. There needs to be structures. For instance, every local government should set up a consumer protection unit in each local government. If we have that across all of Nigeria, that means it comes closer to the people. The states must have those levels of support, but they try. So most of the consumer protection structures you have in Nigeria are overwhelmed. It's not enough. And the amount of, 200 and something million human beings, the amount of pressure they get, so that's why they look ineffective. That's why people feel like I complained, nobody responded. It's too much. Do you understand? For the structure. So government in Nigeria still hasn't caught the how do you call it?
The burden.
They haven't seen the light fully. They are seeing it a bit, but fully. But maybe now, when taxes and quanko, people are going to start.
And an election is coming.
No, even with the elections, they don't base their whatever on those things. But since with this new tax law, a whole lot of governments will now have to understand that we have to protect and give value for service. Then they would have to set up the structures. Because, Lagos State has 54 57 local government and local government councils. Only about 6 or 8 of them have consumer protection units, and they are not even well developed in this Lagos State.
Wow. Signals on 91.3, we're discussing understanding consumer rights. Do you know your right? Have you complained before? Somebody just complained and gotten some money back because they did not do instant transfers. That is interesting. 0704 100 7913, or you can send a WhatsApp message 0809 234 5913. If Nigerians complained more formally, would systems actually change?
Yes, but Nigerians also need to learn how to complain. Nigerians don't complain, they grumble. And when you grumble in consumer protection, you don't get anything. No. Complaints have a process. I addressed that in the book. You follow that process. If you are consistent with it. In fact, we're working on an AI-assisted consumer companion thing. I should be releasing that within a few months. Which, if you put it on your phone, you have any consumer issue, you put it into it, it will tell you what to do, how to do it. And we are feeding it now with all the information we have, with all our own processes and quanko. So you don't need to even call us. Just get on that CAFON companion and tell it, I just did this, what should I do? It will give you the law that backs you up.
Yeah, so
it will
it's
give
easy.
you, yes. So it's a lot easier for you to complain properly in such a way that even when they receive the complaint, they know this one knows what he's talking about. Because that's what they do. Once they know you don't know what you're talking about, they won't answer you. But once they know you know what you're talking about, they don't want your trouble. So they eventually would address the issue.
Now, is consumer exploitation sometimes enabled by government policies themselves?
That's a jam question.
Because, sometimes I'm trying to be very... okay, so
you know the challenge that you have.
Yes. We are here. This particular.
Okay. You know what? One of the greatest problems you have is that government has to play a balancing act.
Okay.
Government needs to encourage businesses and at the same time protect consumers. Do you understand?
Yes.
So sometimes there's an unclear
thin line.
Yes, really a thin line between that. That particular issue that you're talking about. There are a whole lot of things. There was, like I said, the consumer also has responsibility. The consumer in that situation overstepped their rights. They didn't understand their responsibility. But
they went overboard.
They did. But the response of the brand also was overboard.
So everybody's, do you know who I am?
That's it. So you can have those little, but it's not as if government deliberately will put structures in place to say they want to frustrate you or make consumer. It's their business to ensure that you are not exploited. That's government's business. Even by as directed by the Constitution. The government's primary responsibility is to look out for your welfare. That's their primary responsibility.
That's the number one responsibility.
So it can be, they can't be doing it deliberately. Maybe as an oversight in the process of trying to say, oh, we want to protect the businesses, because if the economy doesn't work, then there will be no nation and all that and all that. In the process, they may leave gaps or leave room, but it can be deliberate.
Now, we're discussing understanding consumer rights, and what's that one thing that you would want every Nigerian to know? What's that one thing? Okay, 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay, well, the bottom line is there are 8 guaranteed consumer rights you have.
8?
Yes, across the... in fact, that's global. It's not even just
global.
I wrote it in the book.
Let's look for it. It still signals on 91.3 while she's looking for 8 guaranteed rights as a Nigerian consumer. Call us, send us a WhatsApp message 0809 234 5913 or 0704 100 7913. Yes.
There are 8 UN consumer rights that you're guaranteed. You have a right to safety. You have a right to be informed. You have a right to choose. You have a right to be heard. You have a right to satisfaction of your basic needs. You have a right to redress. And you have a right to consumer education. And a right to a healthy environment. Now, under those 8 broad areas, we can break it down into
so many.
So, but basically, when you understand that you are valued enough as a human being in the marketplace, such that your voice
is heard,
such that you have a right to pick what you want and what you don't want, and you have a right to redress if something happens and it's not satisfactory to you or is violating your right. You have a right to redress. Nigerians don't know that they have a right to redress, so they feel that once that happens, my loss. So I need a lot more Nigerian consumers to be aware that no, it doesn't have to be your loss. Okay. They make fun of me in my house that I don't want to mention the brand name. I'm one of these foreign online platforms where you buy all kinds of things and all kinds. But I've discovered
temu you.
Like, that is you. I didn't want to make. I'm a table friend. But trust me, if they send me anything that doesn't meet what I immediately send it back to them, or I call them, I tell them I need
a refund.
I don't ask for refund. They offer the refund. But a whole lot of Nigerians don't know. So you buy the thing and say, it's not working, and you throw it. If it's not working, I bought something. It didn't work as well for after 6 months. And I said to them, this thing I bought is supposed to work for longer than this. Oh, they said, oh, after 3 months, we can't take it back. I mean, it's 3 months that is left. But because of that window and they gave me back like 25% of what I spent to buy it. So those are you being confident as a Nigerian consumer. If there's anything that's going wrong, you tell yourself there must be some means by which I can get redress. Once you expect
a refund,
once you expect redress, you will seek, you will ask, you will insist, you will push. But once you don't expect it, you don't think this person is liable. Oh, he sold me something and the thing is bad, it's my loss. No, it's not your loss. It should not be your loss. He should also bear some cost for selling you something that's bad, so that next time he won't stock something that's bad, because he knows he will hit his bottom line. But when you don't go there to ask, or when you say I asked, they didn't do anything, you stay there. Or tell, and they know that there are structures that can come after them.
Yes.
You can say, okay, because for instance, Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, I can vouch for them. Once you let them know they are in that place, so and so because a whole lot of people have now seen them, they are careful. So once you say I'm going to go and report to Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, they will call you and say, okay, let's resolve, because in the process you have to go through, their government, they will close your shop.
And nobody wants any shop closed.
Exactly.
It's 2026. So sell proper rights. Now, what would be before we wrap up, our time is almost up. What would be satisfactory to you as a Nigerian consumer? That's one. And then from now back, what have you seen so far?
What would be satisfactory to me?
Yes. Because you sat on different boards. Like, there are plenty. And as a Nigerian consumer, let's use you as our benchmark.
My standards are high.
I know. Yes.
My standards are high, but I also am a very responsible consumer. I will do everything by the book, so that when I want to come back to you, you can't hold me and say because you left this one out on the table. So I pay a lot of attention, but I also expect to get value
for money.
You must insist on getting value for money.
Okay.
That's what is satisfactory to me. Anything that is not delivering value is not worth your time. You are not stealing the money.
We're working.
You're working for it, and you should be able to. And you know, consumer protection is actually a means by which government measures the standard of living of its people. If there's not enough consumer protection, people's lives is wasting. Because if I'm supposed to buy one bulb that should last me 8 years, and I have to be replacing it because it's substandard ones. I have to be replacing it like every 6 months. Do you know how much money that has gone down the drain that could be used for something else? There's opportunity cost for money. So you have to seek value. It may be a little more expensive, but it gives you value. And that means that your funds will be free to do other things that would elevate your standard of living. But if all you are doing is changing bulb and changing bulb, it would affect your budget for something else. True.
And it's an emergency.
Exactly. So it's those are the reasons why you must always chase value. Always chase value. That's what's satisfactory to me.
Now, looking back, having dedicated your entire career, second career.
It became a second career because I started off as an advertising and marketing and PR person, and then moved. It just dovetailed into. In fact, the story of how I got into it is another one. But it's become a passion for me.
For you.
And so this is where I'm going to end my career, my life.
Retire. Retire. Now, if you look back in this second career, was it worth it?
1,000%. The knowing that you are able to help people get value
for money.
Oh my God! And you know, I have a sense of I don't like people cheating people. No. So you find me fighting for people.
Did we at some point do aluta when we were coming?
Of course.
So
I was aluta through school or through University of Lagos. I was aluta.
So there's always aluta continua Victoria.
I just don't like people cheating other people, and so I will tend up to speak up for people, even when the person you are speaking up for doesn't even know the value of what you're doing. But it's just not fair. I think fairness is something we should pursue as a society. We are living in an environment that's not fair on multi levels, and that's why our standard of living is very low. We need fairness. The marketplace should be fair. The businessman should make profit, but not extort people, and the consumer should get value for their money and not be made to pay for substandard things that doesn't add value to them. So if we can keep inching towards that, we will get an environment where everybody is comfortable, everybody's
happy.
Yes, you're happy. You can have some level of happiness. Pursuit of happiness. That's a goal for everybody.
Now, on that note, thank you so much for being the voice in the wilderness. Thank you.
It's been great chatting with you. We know we could continue talking like this.
Yeah, I know. Now, until we come your way again next week Saturday, for every business owner, remember that is a replace, refund, redress,
repair,
replace,
yes,
and refund.
Yes.
Because we don't want to refund, let's ensure that we're telling people this is first grade, second grade, and substandard, that this is Nigerian law. To every consumer out there, exchange value for value, be nice, and on that note, thank you so much to Adeola for making this happen, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Oshodi.
So we come your way again next week Saturday, like we always say on Signals, Dream Again. And then my new mantra for this year is please stay alive. That's stay alive. It's very important that we stay alive. Have a wonderful week, have a wonderful new year, have a wonderful January. Hopefully it's not long and we have funds to do some work. Have a wonderful week and God bless.
I'm planning to pay tax.
Thank you, everyone.